Hello and welcome to Smartkarma's corporate webinar. I'm Anisha Kundu and I lead the corporate solutions offering at Smartkarma. This week, we're very glad to have with us Arwana Citramulia, and we are glad to have the CFO and Corporate Secretary, Rudy Sujanto, with us today. So we will start the webinar with Pak Rudy walking us through a company presentation, after which he will engage in a fireside chat with our very own insight provider, Angus Mackintosh. And then we will also be taking some live Q&A. So please look out for the chat box, the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and send through your questions, and we'll have those asked live. I'll also be sending a few ways for you to be able to connect with Pak Rudy later on, and also read Angus's work. So with that, I will hand it over to you, Pak Rudy, to take it forward with your presentation.
Thank you, Anisha. Good afternoon for everybody. I'm sure most of the participants today are quite familiar with Arwana, and then the time is quite short, so I will directly to presenting the performance from the financial side, the achievement for the first quarter. So I will share my screen. Arwana is a very sustainable growth company. We expand the install capacity almost in every 2 years, from 2.8 million capacity in 95 to 64.4 million last year, 2021. Arwana return on equity was 30% last year. The key driver of the KPI of the ROE, the key driver is the margin. The margin last year is quite wide, about 18.4% for the bottom line, and very high. We have a quite high return on total asset, about 1.14. So the turnover is high thanks to the high capacity utilization of Arwana. So this I will share the screen about the capacity utilization. So you see, this is the capacity utilization since 2009 to 2021. Our utilization is never lower than 90%. The highest before 2015 was 100% in 2012. And then in the period after that, the period of 2015 to 2021, see that since 2020, the utilization was about 103%, and in 2021 increased to 107%, and for the first Q of this year, the utilization was 112%. So I saw that the utilization is getting better and better. This means the operation is go friendly, the machinery have no problem, the raw material supply in terms of supply side, the supply chain is okay. So we can produce in a very high utilization. So you see this in the second slide, I show the historical, the SG&A, the CAGR growth for the bottom line for the net profit was about 37% from 2015 to 2021. And then the CAGR growth for the revenue just about 12%. So it means you see that here that the revenue and then the bottom line growth. The growth of the bottom line is not just because of the increase of the sales volume or increase of the other improvement of the average selling price, but it's purely, I think the main contributor is talking about the efficiency. We have a very high efficiency. We are improving the cost of goods sold every year. So this is the main key driver to the growth of the gross profit, also to the net profit. So you see here, this slide show our performance for the first quarter. You see the growth for the first quarter for the bottom line was 44%. And then the key driver, the contributor, firstly, in 2021 to 2022 for the first quarter, we see here, our sales volume grew by about 8%. And then the average selling price improvement, the growth was about 4.14%. So last year, in the same quarter, we see that the average selling price was 36,978 rupiah per square meter. And then this year, improved to 38,508 rupiah per square meter. So was increased by 4.14%. And on the other hand, the sales volume grew by 7.8%. So we see that the net sales for the first quarter increased by 12.26%. And from the cost of the goods sold, we see a big efficiency also. The cost of goods sold decreased by 4.8% from 24,000 to 22,882 rupiah per square meter. So that's why you see that this is the key driver, how we can improve the gross profit margin from 35% the first quarter last year to 40.6% this year, the first quarter. And we can see also from the operating expenses, the SG&A is, in terms of unit cost, is much better than last year. Last year, the SG&A unit cost about 4,492 rupiah per square meter. This year, down to 430 only. So there's some efficiency also from the operating expenses, especially from the sales and then G&A. So you see that from the bottom line, we can see the margin last year was 17.9%. This year increased to 22.94%. And then my target for this year, for 2022, the bottom line, I make a projection that the bottom line will grow another 30%. Net income this year, my projection is 610 billion, with a quite big, a quite wide margin. The margin for this year, the projection for the bottom line was 22.2%. So from here we can see that the first quarter performance is outperform my projection, because in terms of margin is better by about 0.8% than my projection. And then also from the gross profit margin, also my projection this year, my guideline this year was 39.5%. And then we can achieve 40.6% in the first quarter. So everything is better. In terms of ASP, is better than my projection, about 1 point. It is better. From the cost of goods sold also, my projection was my target this year was 23,214, and then for temporary, the first quarter, the achievement is 22,882. So everything is outperform my projection. This slide show you why my ASP, the average selling price, is better than last year, because we see here, this is the mix sales of Arwana for the first quarter. This is the graph that show the mix sales of Arwana. The blue portion of the graph is the best buy product, the contribution was about 25% for the first quarter. And then the brown color, the orange color, the 6% is for the regular product. The gray color, 65% is for the DG Uno. And then the top one, the 4%, the yellow color is the ARNA product. ARNA product is our newest product to meet the market to serve the market of the highest end market in Indonesia, the glazed porcelain that until now we are still imported from China for about 80 million square meter a year. So because of the improvement of the mixers, we are able to book the average selling price 38,500 rupiah per square meter, much better than last year. So this is, and then I can tell you also why for us, the best is for Arwana, the best. My intention is to increase the production for the ARNA DG because the blue color, the best buy product, the margin, the gross profit margin just about 30%. And then the regular product, the brown color, the gross profit margin about 35%. And then the DG Uno, the gross profit margin is about 44%. And then we are talking now about the ARNA, the top end. The gross profit margin was about 46% for the first quarter. So the more we produce the DG Uno, the more we produce the glazed porcelain, we show that we will have a wider margin for the top line or for the bottom line. And then this is my last slide. I show this is the capacity expansion for Arwana for the short future. Now we are preparing, we are building another new production line, so-called Plan 5C. Plan 5C will commence the first production by early of 2023. We will have another 4.4 million square meter for the highest end product, highest end market in Indonesia, the glazed porcelain. So by early of 2023, we will increase another 4.4 million. So our capacity will be about 68.77. So by the time in 2023, the contribution for the glazed porcelain will be about 11% of the total production. And then for the same time also, we're preparing to have another new production line in Sumatra. So-called Plan 4C. This line we will have another 3.6 million more to produce also for the top end of the market to produce glazed porcelain. So by that, we will have about 15% glazed porcelain production, glazed porcelain capacity, 15% of the total installed capacity to produce the glazed porcelain. And then in 2025, we will have another big investment with a capex about 400 billion to have another 6 million more installed capacity to produce the glazed porcelain. So by the time in 2025, the contribution from the glazed porcelain will be about 22% of the total production volume. So this is our capacity expansion planning until 2025. So thank you for the time. Now I'm ready I will give more time for the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Rudy. If you don't mind, stop sharing your screen, and then we
can
go to the Q&A. No, very interesting and a great, great description of Arwana and how far it's come, and obviously the growth prospects ahead look pretty attractive. Just for the audience benefit, can we start off just talking a little bit more about the overall market and the competitive environment? Because that's always been an issue. Arwana's always sort of stood at the top of the pack in terms of efficiency and being able to be profitable all the way through, when often the rest of the industry, suffers from not being able to make profits. But what does the competitive environment look like at the moment?
Okay, I think the market for ceramic in 2021 and that was stronger than 2020, and even stronger for the first quarter this year. So this year, the early to February, January, at the time, we also have a social distancing because of the COVID-19. But the social distancing was looser than before. Our retailer could do business normally, so we do not have a disruption of the market. So the market of the first quarter was very strong, Angus. So the capacity, as showed that the capacity utilization of tile industry in Indonesia is reached 80%. Before just about 60%, and then last year was about 70 to 75%. But the first quarter, that what I learned from the association, Asaki, that the utilization of tile industry of Indonesia now is about 80%. For the red body. Red body, I mean, is to the ceramic, the tile that serve the market of mid to low end.
Yeah.
This is the condition. It means, so whenever the utilization is getting better, and then the selling out ratio is reached almost above 95 to 98%. So it means the competition among the tile manufacturer is not heavy anymore. There's no price war for the red body ceramic because the market, the supply, and then the demand is almost reached the equilibrium point. So now it is a good time for the ceramic industry. The market was strong, the market is strong, and then the gas price is quite cheap now compared to China.
Yeah.
So there's no more price war now. So this is
right. So relatively stable pricing. I mean, Arwana products, if I'm right in understanding, are generally you'll be able to buy at a discount to other producers in the market.
Yeah.
You can sell at a discount.
Yeah.
And I mean, have there been any manufacturers which have closed down during COVID, or has the market remained relatively stable?
Yeah, in 2020 at that time, because this is everybody is worried about the COVID, and then the social distancing was very tight at that time. So it creates some problem to the market because most of our retailer have to stop the business. And then whenever the company do not have a quite big distribution channel, they have to stop the production or reduce the capacity utilization. And then they have to, some small company that do not have a quite good distribution channel, then they have to stop the production for almost 2 years. But now they come back to the business. So as Arwana 2021, our sales the sales grew by 11.4% compared to the growth of the total sales of ceramic in Indonesia, that the growth was under 5%. It means we grow higher. Our growth is much higher than the growth of the total market demand. So it means Arwana is eating somebody market share because some our partners or some our peers are reducing the production because they do not have a good distribution channel. So that, and for the first quarter, the sales was increased by about 8%, slightly higher than my target. My target for this year was 6% only in terms of sales volume. But the first quarter is outperform my target. My target is 6% growth for the sales, but the achievement for the first quarter was 8%. So we are quite happy about that.
Very good. So strong volumes, and obviously, you know, you continue to change the product mix.
Yeah.
As you said, towards the Digi Uno, and obviously more recently to the porcelain tiles. But we'll come back onto that a bit later. But I mean, is it very straightforward for you to increase the capacity or switch capacity into Digi Uno? I mean, I have been to one of your factories, so I've seen it all in action. But is that process an easy one? So you know, how much more can you increase the portion of Digi Uno production in a short period of time?
I think this is a very good question. You're very sharp about that. We see the more we produce Digi Uno, you know that the margin will be better and better. We will have a very wide margin. So we have a planning this year to produce more and more Digi Uno. So now we're working on a project to transform our one line of production, plant 2A, which is producing about 18,000 per day, 18,000 square meter per day. We will transform this line to produce Digi Uno. Digi Uno, not small size, but Digi Uno size, bigger size, 50 times 50. So this will be, so after this line is ready by end of this year, or hopefully by the first month of the second or of the third quarter of this year, we will produce 9% more for the ARNA Digi, for the Arwana Digi. So this will create, by producing more 9% from the base buy to transform the base buy to the Digi Uno size 50-50, the average selling price will improve by about 400 rupiah per square meter for plant 2.
Right.
This is a big, how to say, big contribution to the bottom line and then to the revenue, because the SP will grow by another 400 rupiah per square meter for plant 2. And then plant 2, we're producing about 40% of our production, 40% are from plant 2. So whenever it's increased by 400 rupiah for the plant 2, and plant 2 is about 40% of my total production, so it's mean 400 times 40 is will be about, so my average selling price will improve by about at least about 150 rupiah per square meter, just by transforming the base buy to produce the Arwana Digi. Angus.
Very interesting. And what just sort of physically, you know, what is the difference between, you know, Digi Uno and the regular tiles, for example?
The regular tile Digi Uno, the difference is just with the design and then the way you produce it. The quality have to be better, and then the quality of the surface, the glazing material have to be better. It's mean better is mean more expensive than the regular, and because the size is also bigger. Our regular production is, the size is about 40 by 40, and then this Digi Uno, the size is 50 by 50. So 50 by 50 is very popular here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a kind of substitute product for the imported ceramic. The imported ceramic from China, the size is about 60 by 60. So people now not, so the 40 by 40 is not popular, not so popular now for the how to say, if you build for the developer that happen in Jakarta, in big city, they prefer to have a bigger size of ceramic for the flooring. They don't want to have 40-40 anymore.
Right.
So by that 60 by 60 is quite expensive. So we find a middle substitute product, so we can sell cheaper, because the 60 by 60 in Indonesia, the price is about, the selling price, our selling price is about 75,000 rupiah per square meter. And then 50-50, the Digi Uno, the price just about 40 to 42,000. So the price is quite different, about 50% different. So people still, this is still a big room to grow the market, to go into the market for this middle class market segment.
Right. So there's a decent amount of upside, even in the I would say in the short term from switching the product mix.
Yeah.
And you've already gone through. I was going to ask about the capacity. There are some questions coming in, which why don't we just start on those? The first one's come in is from Ananga Haryanto. How do you cope with the incoming Chinese ceramics imports? So why don't we start with that? So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the glass porcelain that Indonesia still import. We are now still importing about 80 million square meters per year from China. And then for the last few years, nobody can compete. Nobody can go into this market because they cannot compete with China in terms of pricing. Because at the time, China still producing with the coal gas. Everything is much cheaper for them. In Indonesia, we're producing the ceramic with a very expensive gas at the time because the gas price at the time is about $9. So nobody can compete with China because the energy cost is much cheaper in China. And then we see, Arwana also see this opportunity, how we can capture this market. The market is already there, created by the importer with the size of 80 million square meters. And then the growth for this market is very high, much higher than the regular ceramic. So we see, this is a very big opportunity. So as long as we can go into the market, compete with China at the same price, only the same price, because I know that what is the cost for Catur Sentosa to import the ceramic from China. So we know, and then we try to make a feasibility study and then study the cost. And then we sure that 2 years ago that this is the time to go to the market to fight with China, because we sure that we are able to sell at the same price as China.
Yeah.
So
you're selling at the same price.
The same price.
Same price. So you don't need to discount or anything else.
Only the same price.
Yeah. And I
Even
guess
slightly higher than China, the imported ceramic, you still can do that. Even slightly higher, you can do that.
Right.
Even slightly higher.
I mean, the other thing I was going to suggest, I mean, obviously, the people you're supplying to, that you can obviously supply them more quickly and provide them with better terms probably than the Chinese can.
So because we can serve the market faster. Whenever Catur Sentosa imported the ceramic from China, the lead time is about 1 month, the shipping time. And then also Catur Sentosa need to pay cash to China or open site LC to cover the purchase. Whenever they buy from Arwana, we give them a good term of payment, 70 to 75 days. We can ship the ceramic to them by days, by 2 days, 3 days. It means they only need a very low inventory volume. The inventory for them is low. Before they need to keep 2 months whenever they buy from China. Now they just need to keep it maybe one week.
Right.
So it means the cost of inventory for them is low. It means the working capital, they don't need even working capital because we give them a term of payment of 70 days. They keep our ceramic for 2 weeks. So it means they have positive working capital whenever they buy the porcelain from Arwana. Yeah. So that how we can compete with China. And then now the cost, the price for China product is keep increasing.
Right. I mean, I guess that comes on to the next question actually from Ananga, which is saying, did the increase in energy prices affect the company's bottom line? Now, obviously, gas prices are stable, but are there any other elements which are affected by higher energy prices?
The gas price now is is very good. This is the gift from our government to improve our competitiveness. But there's also another threat from the cost side, especially the glazing material. The grazing material is a kind of commodities such as titanium dioxide, zirconium dioxide. The price for titanium and zirconium is keep increasing because the consumption, the demand is very high globally. So now last year, the cost for this titanium, and then zirconium oxide increased by almost 40 to 50% until now. So our cost will give a big impact to our cost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So those I mean, how do you offset what portion of costs is coming from the glazed materials?
Our cost about 20% are from the grazing material. So this is a big threat for us if we do nothing. If we are kind of sitting duck, we will have a problem. We have to do something. So we challenge our R&D. So the cost pressure is coming, as I say, is coming from the grazing material, such as zirconium and titanium dioxide. So I learned that there's a quote from Sun Tzu. So Sun Tzu said, in the midst of chaos, there is also an opportunity. So we use titanium and zirconium since a long time. We don't care about the cost because at the time the cost is quite stable and then we have a good margin. But now it's different. Because the cost of this, the price of titanium, zirconium increasing every year, every month increase, every month until now. So, and our cost supposed to increase quite big or quite significant due to the increase of these commodities. So, and then we also have a target for the cost of the grazing material that we set by end of 2021 that we have to achieve in 2022. And whenever we can achieve the target, we will give a big incentive to the R&D team and then the production team. So we challenge them how to achieve the target, even now because the prices keep increasing. But now how you can achieve the target. So it's mean they need to find a better formula. So now they come up with a solution to find a substitute for material for the zirconium and titanium. So we work together with our supplier from Vietnam to produce a kind of product we so-called opacifier. So the opacifier, which is much cheaper, and can provide the same function to create the opacity to the surface of the ceramic. Now, come up with our glazing material cost for the first quarter is even cheaper by 2% compared to the cost before is increased.
Right. So it's
2% better compared to the cost of glazing material before
the 40% increase.
Before the titanium and zirconium increase.
Right. So that's a substitute material that you're using to replace that, and that's just as robust as the other materials in bonding the glaze.
Yeah.
So that sounds very good. So
we're not losing our quality. The quality is, we can maintain the quality. The market is happy, but for us the cost is cheaper.
Right. Very interesting. Well, that must be, because I mean, obviously glazing costs historically have had some volatility, haven't they? And I think you've changed your sourcing in the past. Yeah. To different countries.
So we have to do that. We cannot. Yeah. We have to change our way and then find a better formula. So I think status quo is not good for us, because why? Because the cost of the raw material is keep increasing. Even the ink we buy a lot of ink from Europe, from few companies like Colombia and Torresheet is from Spain. The ink is keep increasing. Why? Because the production cost for them, the energy cost in Europe is keep increasing. Yeah. The electricity and then the gas price is keep increasing, sky high. So now they need to adjust, pass on the cost to us. And then we don't want.
Right.
we need to find another substitute. So we also work with a partner, a supplier from China, the Beto Ink.
Right. So ink's another input cost, which could have an impact.
So this is kind of, in terms of chaos, in terms of crisis, you will find a good opportunity, not to maintaining the cost, but to reduce the cost.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got some other questions here. How do you see Mitra 10 as one of your distributors, and does the relationship does this relationship is mutually exclusive, or does ARNA have another big scale distributor for its goods?
You mean Catur Sentosa?
Yes, exactly. Catur Sentosa, which has Mitra 10. Yeah.
Yeah, because Catur Sentosa is Arwana, the biggest distributor for Arwana, because we sell our product 95% to Catur, and then another 5% to smaller distributor that focus in east of Indonesia. So by east to Sulawesi, we have another small distributor to distribute 5% of product in 5 to 6% in Sulawesi. So the last 95% are distributed by Catur Sentosa. We already have a very good relation with Catur Sentosa since 25 years ago. We do not have any family relation with Catur Sentosa. We do not have, my founder Tandian Rustandi do not own any share in Catur Sentosa. Also Budi Totong, the founder of Catur Sentosa, also do not have any share in Arwana. So it's purely business. We are happy with Catur Sentosa because Catur Sentosa have 44 sub-distributor to serve more than 30,000 outlets that selling Arwana product. So anytime Arwana increase the capacity, Catur Sentosa is able to improve the distribution to distribute our product. And then every year the selling out ratio from Catur is quite high. So it's been whatever we distribute to Catur Sentosa are able to distribute everything to the market. So we are quite happy with that. Like now, our sales in Sumatra Island is keep increasing. Before, the sales to Sumatra were only about 15 to 20%. But nowadays, last year and now, the sales to Sumatra is already about 31% of Arwana total sales. So it's been the sales in Sumatra is keep increasing. So in 2021, and then we are happy that Catur Sentosa are able to grow with us. We asked them to increase to have more sub-distributor, to have more bigger warehouse, and then Catur Sentosa can do that for us. So that's why we are quite happy with Catur Sentosa. So we just focus to grow the capacity, and Catur Sentosa will cooperate with us to support us with a better and wider distribution channel. I think this is the most important.
Yeah, but they obviously they distribute other products as well for other companies. But you're the main. So, you must be the main. So
Catur Sentosa have two distribution channels. They have traditional distribution channel that with the 44 sub-distributor to serve the market of 30,000 outlets. This is the traditional distribution that serve our Arwana red body ceramic to mid to low end. And then Catur Sentosa also have a kind of building material supermarket, so-called Mitra 10. Mitra 10 in English. Yeah. In Indonesia, they call it Mitra 10. And then the Mitra 10 is serving the market, the high-end market. The Mitra 10 is they set the supermarket in the big city like Jakarta, Bandung, and Surabaya. Before, Mitra 10 didn't sell Arwana product because at the time we just produced the mid to low end. Mitra 10 is for the high-end market. But since starting last year, because we are already producing the Gresik porcelain now, you can find Arwana product in Mitra 10. In Mitra 10, you can find a lot of product, even from Mulia, from China, from Vietnam, from everywhere. And then we do not worry about that, because why? Because the first thing you can compete is because you selling the same price. The quality is almost the same. Even in terms of design, ours is better. So we don't worry about that.
Right. And for the general trade distribution, is Chartered Sentosa, is it just distributing Arwana tiles for general trade, or is it?
Yeah, for general trader, only for Arwana.
Only for Arwana. So,
if
and
you go to the Chartered Sentosa traditional channel, you go to the sub-distributor, the warehouse, you can only find Arwana product.
Right, so that's exclusive. And what portion of
about
sales?
Last year, I understand that about 30% of CSAP revenue is from selling Arwana product.
Right.
30% is quite big amount.
Yeah.
If they're losing Arwana, it means they lose the 30% revenue.
So it's a mutually beneficial relationship, basically. If you increase capacity, then they can.
Yeah, we increase the capacity, and then they help us to distribute. They need to improve the distribution channel.
Yeah. Okay. The next question here I have is again, it's about competition. So we've covered it a little bit, but I'll just give you the question anyway. So, what is the market share of ARNA in 2021 and 2020, and who are ARNA's closest competitors?
Yeah, before we have about 15% market share. I'm talking about the total market share. It's including the high end and low end. This year, at least about 16%, 1/6. So it's mean our market share is keep increasing because our utilization is much higher, my output is higher, and then my selling out ratio is very high. It means I can sell everything that I produce. It means I sell more. Like the first quarter, I sell more 8% than before, and then this year my projection is 6%. My sales volume will grow by another 6%. It means my market share is keep increasing.
Right. Very good.
Because until now, like that a big company also that belong to Siam Cement in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
This line also listed in Indonesia. This company with the ticker code of KIAS. Kias in Indonesia. Yeah. Until now, they already shut down 2 production line from 2 years ago until now.
Right.
And then they keep the bottom line for them is not good. It's mean not everybody can enjoy to capture the market. It depends on how good you are with the cost and then your distribution channel. Even the market now is quite strong, but not everybody can recover.
Yeah. I mean, would you? I mean, any other competitors that you would mention? I mean, Mulia is obviously a big.
Yeah. So talking about the competition, Arwana is in terms of sales volume, in terms of production volume, are in the 3rd position. So it's been the biggest in terms of production volume will be Mulia. The 2nd position will be the Asia Group. In Indonesia, they call it Platinum. This belong to Asia Group. So in terms of capacity, Mulia the biggest. In the 2nd position is Asia Group, and then Arwana is the 3rd position.
Right. Very good. And from the same attendee, we've got another question, which is rather more shorter term and obviously dealing with current events. Is what is the impact of Russia and Ukraine and the upcoming Lebaran holiday on ARNA's performance?
So every 2nd quarter, the sales is less than the 1st quarter, and then the weakest sales usually in the 2nd quarter, because this is the 2nd quarter usually where the month that the Lebaran happened. Lebaran usually will be about June, May, and April. So in every year since the 20 years ago until now, the weakest sales usually in the second quarter.
Right. Okay.
So,
So
some of volume will be less than the first quarter, but we already prepared for that, and then we're happy with that. Why? Because we need to stop our production line for big maintenance.
Right.
So why we can have a very high utilization? Because during the holiday, our maintenance team is ready to do the maintenance.
Right. So that you take
the machine back to the basic, and then ready for production after the Lebaran. So that's why we have a very high utilization.
Right. Sounds very sensible to have that maintenance during that spell. And another question that's come in is on, which is kind of salient issue is when will the lower gas cost cap at $6 per MMBTU, when will that be removed?
Everybody asks me about this question. Everybody, whenever I have a meeting with them, usually they're asking me about this. I'm telling them that I'm sure that there's a big possibility to have the gas price increase above $6 after 2024. I'm sure about that.
Yeah.
After 2024, the price will change. I don't know how high, but will change. But anyhow, the demand is already very strong now because the utilization is almost 80 to 85%. And then the need of the ceramic for the high end is keep increasing. Now, the ceramic industry is very confident to pass on the cost to the market. Like in April, everybody increased the price to pass on the cost of the increase of 1% of VAT. So April, we increased the price. And then in early of 2022, we also increased the price quite high, about 3,000 rupiah for the ARNA product. Is meant for the glass porcelain. We increased the price by 3,000, and then we increase again another 1% in April to pass on the cost of the increase of the VAT to the market. We should that now everybody are ready because the market is ready. We just wait for the tipping point. We need a tipping point to increase the price.
Right.
By now, I don't want to increase my price because my margin is quite good. Whenever I increase my price, I need to look at what happened. What is the reaction from Mulia and from the Asia group? If are they going along with me to increase the price, or they stay put? Whenever they stay put, I will have a problem. I will lose my market share.
Yeah. So the answer to the question.
Everybody wait and see. I wait for you, you wait for me. But whenever there's a tipping point, like say the gas price increased by $1, I'm sure that everybody will pass on the cost to the market, because now the market is strong enough to capture, to have another price increase.
Right. Well, that's right. So you think that if the gas price does go up, by that time the market will be ready for pricing?
Because I'm sure that next year the price of the ceramic will increase, but just how high?
Yeah. Well, we've got very little time left, so I'm just going to. There's one other question here which I can quickly summarize, and it's really asking the question is, how much more can you improve on your efficiencies? Because obviously you've done a very good job in reducing rejection rates and all that kind of thing, and lower gas usage as a result. How much are you reaching the limit in terms of how much you can improve efficiency? So
this year my target, I have I'm very confident that I still able to reduce my cost, as I presented before, for another few percent. Why? Because this year my target for the gas consumption will reduce for another 6%. Right. Yeah, I show you my screen, Oscar. I will share my screen for the. You see my screen? Yep. So this is my gas consumption. From almost 2 cubic meter until now is about 1.2 less than 1.5. So this is the source of my margin, because I'm able to reduce the consumption from the energy. This is the big district contributor to my margin. And then everybody asks me, it is great. How about next year? How about next year? I still, how to say, I still able to reduce my gas consumption. I'm still sure that next year, this year, because this year my target for the gas consumption is not 1.47 anymore, but just about less than 1.4. And then for 2023, I still have a confidence to reduce it to about 1.35. But 1.35 for me is already the best. 1.3 to 1.35 is already the best. I cannot go further. I cannot go further. So whenever I already achieved the maximum efficiency, I still have the opportunity at the time to grow my margin by changing the mixed product, as your question before. How fast I can transform the line that produce Best Buy to produce the Uno DG, isn't it?
Right. Very good. Well, Rudy, that's very interesting. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground there, and you know, afraid I think we're just about up to the end of our time. So I'll hand back to Anisha now to some closing remarks. And yeah, thank you very much again. Very interesting discussion.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for those questions, Angus, and Rudy. Thank you so much for the detailed deep dive into Arwana and the competitive landscape and how you're seeing things expand. So that was really informative. And also a big thank you to the audience who've been very active and sending through quite interesting questions. So that rounds up today's webinar with Arwana. We're really glad to have done this today, and have a good week ahead, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.